Okay, this is nice over here at Foxwood.
That thing really.
This is probably one of the best models. Oh, Dave, go that way. Hit towards the lake. Yeah, guys. This has got to be one of the best models we ever had. It's a 529.9 house over in Forest of Foxwood. There's so many things about this house, but the question to you guys is this. What are we going to do today for today's show? Come up with something good.
Well, sitting at this house, my experience was having lots and lots of questions. Like people came in all the time asking about different things in the house, just different things, like not even knowing what something was that they saw. So I spent a lot of time just explaining things of what is this in the house.
Like for instance?
For instance, for me, actually here on the exterior, you can see our outdoor lights are actually just a little bit different than they used to be.
Yeah.
They've got light sensors on them now, or motion sensors. So when something walks by, anything kind of motion, it actually turns the light on and off. And even indoors, you've got the same thing where you can have it, where you can have a light, turns on and off according to the light outside. So at dusk it turns on, at dawn it turns off. So some of the different things we've got around the house. Yeah, security
Everybody's
ideas.
about security today.
Yeah.
That's good, but we can't make a whole show out of that.
No, but speaking of security and safety, this is another little gadget, I would call it, that's very inexpensive. It's called a lint alert. No, it does not tell you when you need to take the lint thing to your coat or anything. But this is actually attached to your dryer vent, and it actually measures airflow. And so as vent collects in that dryer vent to a point where it's actually dangerous, it's going to send off alarm. You simply plug it in, attach it to your dryer vent, and presto, you've got a very
Ronnie,
good security
I just
measure.
saw somebody about 4 weeks ago had a fire. Is that what that would have been?
It
from
was.
The lint?
They estimate 15,000 fires a year in America as a result of lint in the vent.
Okay, what's the cost of that?
This is like $40.
Not too bad.
Now that would be a fun fact, but
Money
I
well
don't know
spent.
if we can do a whole show around this.
I got another gadget, guys. This is one of my favorites. For those pet owners, at home, I got a dog. Every chance she gets, the door's open or cracked, she's gone. So now I've invested in this. For $100 was the initial investment, $2 a month after that. Every time she takes off, I can just pull up my phone, GPS, locate her location within a couple yards. And no walking up and down the streets of the neighborhood screaming her name. So.
Make them for snakes? Anyway,
Yeah,
What's the cost on that one?
$100. Yep.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, here's the, now, I do have one. We are on probably the biggest pond I know of, 17-acre Douglas Lake out here. Tell me this, guys. That big mailbox, or those mailboxes, there's what, about 10 of them around here. Everybody keeps asking me, what's that?
I tell people it's just the mailbox for the fish.
That would be incorrect, Izzy. Well, what it is there was a gentleman who unfortunately lost one of their childs due to association pond. Yeah, drowning. He couldn't swim himself, so he came up with an idea of installing these mailboxes every few hundred yards around a pond, and what's inside of them is actually a rope with a float at the end of it, so you can actually throw it out to the victim and then pull them in, essentially saving hundreds of lives.
We got to tell Tony Deppker to quit tying his boat up to one of these.
Yeah, that's not what that's for. Okay, safety is obviously a big thing. That's what that's for. In fact, people on just private ponds are buying them and putting them down. I think, if I heard last, about $150 to $200 is all.
Yeah, it's a
well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, speaking of the pond, I have another little fun fact. Do you guys know we have a safety shelf? Does anybody know what the safety shelf is?
Put books on it?
Books for the fish? No.
You guys are on this school thing today, aren't you?
Books, yeah.
Actually, what it is every pond we build, and we do now do quite a few developments, like out in Saddle Creek, out in Grable.
Right.
We had to do the same thing. Every pond, we now have to put a 4 to 5 foot, what we call safety shelf, which means it's very shallow. Then it dives off, which means if somebody would walk in, they have a little chance, or let's say a wheelchair would happen to go down, they have a chance of potentially getting back out. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, so give me idea. Wait. You know what? I got an idea for the show.
Okay.
What if we would do, what's that?
Perfect.
What's that in the house?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a good
like
question.
it?
Yeah.
We'll just answer all the questions.
Okay, let's do, I don't know how we can do it. Let's do a what's that show.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go do it.
It sounds good.
welcome to Between the Studs. I'm Lonnie Norris, and this is Tony Reinke, president of Granite Ridge Builders. We are custom home builders serving northern Indiana, parts of southern Michigan, and also northwest Ohio. Each week we like to talk about processes, trends, features, energy efficient items that make up today's new home. There's a lot to talk about, and today I think we have an interesting show because we're going to talk about what again, Tony?
You know what? I kind of like what we thought. In fact, each home has about 300,000 parts and pieces that we do when we build a new home. Everybody always has a question about some, like what's that? What's this?
You're right. We had a homeowner the other day thought we had his house bugged. There were so many wires going here, there, and yon. So
In fact, I think
it's a good idea.
I think you can show that one today too. What that was.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we'll do. Let's break off. I think. Are you guys ready yet?
Need about 4 more minutes.
Yes, 4 is a good way to put it. 4.
I'm not sure we're going to ever get them. Here's what we'll do. Why
Get a
don't
hard
you
hat.
meet up with Luke and Izzy,
Okay.
and why don't you hit some of the exterior? What's that?
Let's do it.
Good.
You know, guys, we get a lot of questions, particularly on the outside of a home, and the question is, what is that?
I'll start chat with one of my favorites is what is the hook thing on the top of the roof? I joke with my kids and I tell them that it's a Santa Claus hook and that's how he gets into our chimney.
Yeah.
But what is it for real?
Yeah.
It's a great question. So what that is it's a place to hook a safety harness for when people get on the roof from all the way through construction phase, or if the homeowner needs to do routine maintenance or hanging Christmas lights, it gives them a place to tie
That's a
off.
code thing now, right?
Yep, for safety, yep.
And also, there's a white PVC pipe sticking out the roof. A lot of roofs have those.
Yep, absolutely. Those are part of the way that the sewer works. So when you flush your toilet, it actually can replace the air, so that way your toilet doesn't gurgle as the water goes down. And then it also works as if sewer gases come back up to the house. It has a place to exhaust.
Okay. And so, what about rain getting in that hole?
Well, yeah, rain absolutely gets in the hole. Now, what happens to it? It just goes down into your drains and out the house.
Not gonna have a roof
yeah,
leak then.
nope, roof leak at all.
Speaking of vents, there's an odd-looking vent on the back of this house. You see it, Izzy? You and I were talking about that.
Yeah, and we've talked about that in previous episodes, the fresh air intake. That's the intake right there. So that's what's on the outside. That brings fresh air into the house and mixes it with the stale air in the house, providing a much, cleaner, fresher, safer indoor air quality.
That's one of the Granite Ridge differences, that we bring fresh air into every furnace that we set
Yep,
in our
absolutely.
new homes. And that brings us to one more pipe
Yeah,
back here. Can we get a little closer and take a look at that?
sure. This is our sump pump line. So you got a pit in your basement that collects rainwater or groundwater, comes out here. Now we actually do something special. This is a Granite Ridge difference. Most homes, you'll see that this just 90s right down,
Falls down,
into
okay.
the ground, and then it goes out to the backyard.
Right.
We actually put this extra piece on it. So in a wintertime, just in case that line were to get clogged or frozen, you can actually come out here, pull this, connect another pipe here, and have that water run across the ground rather than it just recycling and potentially flooding your basement.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Let's move around to the sides and fronts and look at a few more things.
Yep.
So we're here on the side of the house now, and before we get started on the side, I'd like to go back to the roof though. The very top, a lot of people ask me why there looks like there's a couple shingles that aren't even attached or maybe aren't laying flat.
Yeah, we do get that question a lot. And on a hot day like today, attic ventilation is key.
Yeah.
That's actually called a ridge vent. So it's actually a vent, and it actually works in conjunction with our soffits here. You can see that those are perforated,
yeah.
which actually creates kind of a cycle effect, and that air has room as exhaust out of the attic, since cooling the attic on a day like today.
Okay. And while we're looking up, what about that thing, Luke? What is that little white?
Yeah, so
vent?
though that is actually tied to the bath vent. So you go into the bathroom, you flip that fan on, that fan exhausts to there. A question we get a lot is, well, I hear wind or a
Yes, it
clicking
can
noise
rattle.
from my,
Yeah.
it can rattle.
Yeah.
A simple, easy fix. Now this is key, listen to this. Simple, easy fix. You can actually just reach up there with the ladder, twist that a different direction, and it'll keep that wind from hitting back into that vent and eliminating that noise or that clicking sound.
Okay.
And I'm wondering why we have a muffler system on the side of our house. I've heard about this before.
Yeah, so
Dual carburetors.
these white pipes here are various exhaust pipes throughout the house. So for like your furnace or your water heater, and we'll show you more of that down in the basement. But that's just simply exhausting out, air that might have like carbon dioxide in it.
And then I also know that we don't have irrigation on this particular lot, but we have our own hillbilly type
Yeah,
system,
yeah,
maybe we might call it, or what is it? What is it?
Absolutely. So there's just a simple timer here, and then they just ran a line underneath the mulch, and throughout the yard there's the sprinkler set up,
heads, okay.
and it's off of a timer, so you can have it run in the morning, the evening. Again, it's starting to get drier out. Have it run a couple times a day, and it could save you thousands of dollars by not putting an actual irrigation system. And this is more of a temporary,
but it works.
Yeah, it works
and
great.
It's very inexpensive.
Yep.
Probably what, $7,500? You could hook up your house.
Yeah, absolutely. You buy that stuff, Lowe's, Menards, wherever, and it's easy, accessible. Yep.
Let's keep going.
Here we are out of the sun and in the shade here, a little bit
good.
cooler.
Feels nice.
But I wanted to point out this. We've got, it looks like a dryer vent, but what's going on with this?
Yeah, it's a dryer vent, and it was filled up to make it look and blend like the brick. Now, you talked about the lint alert at the beginning. That's where, on the inside, you tap that lint alert to make sure that this is getting plenty of flow with the lint, and then also exhausting all that humid air that your dryer can put out.
Interesting. And this is bugging me. It looks like we've got fuses in the wall. We got firecrackers or dynamite back here? What's going on?
What is that?
This is a
What is
real
that?
big common question that we get from homeowners. I've had some homeowners call me up and say, hey, your brick mason left a rope in there, I pulled it out. No,
So
leave
let's
them
pull it
in.
out.
They do serve a purpose. There's actually a half-inch gap between the brick and the subsiding.
Okay.
So brick is porous, so moisture will get through this. And then what that does is that gives an area for the moisture to wick out. So now you got to be real careful. Just a word of warning, if you have brick on the front of the house and you push mulch above those wick lines, it'll work the opposite way. It'll actually wick water back into the brick. When it starts freezing, could cause some issues.
So keep those free from stuff.
Yes.
It looks like we've got like a spy camera or something up there.
Yes.
Had that
How do we look? I think it's watching us.
It's not a camera, it's actually just the sensor. Now we have a nice brick, yard light out there, and when it's just the pole, the sensor goes on the pole, but in this case, there's no place to, inconspicuously to put that sensor. So we actually put it up in the soffit, and what it does is it monitors when it's light out, it shuts the light off, and when it gets dark, it comes on automatically.
And I know exactly what that is. It's a wasp nest, so let's go ahead and
Move on.
Dave, we're in here in the garage. There's a couple of items in here that are usually asked about quite often. Could you start out by telling us what this red cord's here for?
Of course. Well, first of all, JR, it is not something for a little child to hang on. Okay.
Not a
It's
jungle
actually
gym.
it's actually in case that power goes out at your house itself, and you can't open the garage door the normal way. So you basically pull on this, which disengages the electrical part of your garage door opener, and you can lift up the garage door itself.
So the way you always had to do it in the past.
Absolutely, back to the good old days. Now let's go look at the garage door opener itself.
Sounds good.
All right, JR, in this garage door opener itself, we have a lot of extra wires hanging out of here. First of all, you've got the power cord to get some power to the garage door opener itself. Then the second one is the little cord that goes up, actually goes over to the garage door opener that's on the wall itself.
Gotcha,
All right?
gotcha.
The other thing is, can you tell me, what is this little wire here?
Yeah, this one's a little different. Most people may not have seen this one before. One of the nice features of our Marantec garage door opener is that it comes capable of adding additional piece that works with something called geofencing. So what it'll recognize is once you get within a certain distance of your garage door, and you can program it to automatically open and close without you having to hit any buttons.
That's fantastic on my way home from work some nights.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think Luke's going to help us out now and talk about a few more pieces of the garage. So let's head over that way.
Sounds good. All right, Luke, what's that?
Great question. This is something I wanted to make sure we cover because it's something I get a question on all the time. This here, I took the plate off of it. There's actually a rebar in here with a braided copper wire connected to it. This is actually how we ground our houses now. It protects it from lightning, strikes, gives a place for that electricity to disperse. Now you might remember in some of the houses you grew up in, Dave, this used to be on the outside. Below the electric panel, there used to be a braided copper wire, maybe went to 1 or 2 rods pounded into the ground. We don't have that on our house, so we get a lot of questions. Oh, my house isn't grounded. This is where it's grounded. That rebar goes down to the footer, tees in the footer with some more rebar. It's a great way to ground the house, and it's a cleaner look.
And Luke, I get a lot of questions on this electrical outlet with the light on it. Could you explain what that is for us?
Yeah, so this is a GFCI switch, ground fault circuit interrupter, what it stands for. It's in places that water could be an issue with electricity, bathrooms, kitchens, garages, and outside. So this here, if water's introduced to that electrical current in a blink of an eye, cuts the circuit. So we won't get electrocuted on the other end. It's extremely nice, it's safe. I mean, it's like I said, it's on the outsides, bathrooms, kitchens, and then standard plugs can be wired in series in this, so they may not look square, but they're still protected by the GFCI.
Gotcha. And everything we've talked about today so far in the garage is a standard for a Granite Ridge construction. I think you and I got some fun stuff, though, that we're going to talk about that might not quite be standard.
That sounds good to me, JR.
Let's go take a look at those.
See you guys.
Thanks, Luke.
Okay, JR, exactly what you have there in your hand this time.
Well, when I first grabbed it, I thought it was a defibrillator,
Yeah,
but I
looks
think
like
it's
it.
something different. This comes in handy in my house, actually, more so for my wife, but don't tell her. So you'll hang this on your wall in the garage door, and it's got a sensor that hangs down and mounts as well, so that as you approach it, it turns you from red to yellow to green, so you know when to stop parking your car, so you don't either run into the wall, the mechanicals, and you don't have to have that string with the tennis ball hanging down anymore.
That sounds like a fantastic idea to me.
And it looks like you've got some kind of ginormous nose cleaner over there. What is that?
You could use it for a nose cleaner.
Okay.
It's actually called an iRobot, okay? And instead of getting up there on the ladder to clean out your gutters, you just put this in there, make sure it's charged up, start it up, and then it will actually clean out the gutters and move along the gutters.
Without having to touch it. You can do it from the ground?
Absolutely. That's my kind of gutter cleaner.
I don't blame you.
Okay, Elizabeth here.
Okay.
Put that one, I messed it up for you. Okay, we're on. Hey, I think we get the fun segment. We've been talking about what's that. First question I have is everybody asks, what's that?
This is a Murphy bed.
Okay.
One great thing about this is it's a space saver. So if you don't have a lot of room, perfect. Folds right up into the wall.
That is a great space saver. Okay, an electrical outlet, what's that?
This has a USB port, so you can plug in your phone, your iPad, and you still have your outlet there for something else for your alarm clock.
Clever. In fact, I'm guessing this is why this is here. This looks like a shelf, but it's called?
This is just a little office desk.
Okay, that's a great, what's that? Okay, Elizabeth, today our houses are getting so high tech. There's a lot of things that people don't understand and they say, what's that? For instance, what is that on the ceiling?
This is our smoke detector. It's electric with a battery backup.
Okay.
And it also has a carbon monoxide detector built in.
Awesome for today because you don't have to have two separate units. You can have a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide. Now, why and what did you put two outlets up on the ceiling for?
That's all set up for a TV. So in this room, for example, you may have exercise equipment and you want your TV up out of the way.
Awesome. Elizabeth is a decorator. The question is this a vent or what's that?
That's not a vent. That's actually pathway lighting. So it lights your stairway.
Okay, so I can change the light bulb pretty quick.
Tony, we're in the master bedroom, and everyone always asks me, what's that?
Okay, that could either be your HVAC, your heating and air conditioning vent, or it could be the cold air return. This one is the cold air return, which you need in order to accomplish the opposite of the HVAC air duct. That will push it in. This will take it back down to the filter in the furnace, filter it, and you've got yourself a complete flow of air in your house.
Tony, this is an Anderson window, and they have something unique when you open it, don't they?
Yeah, Anderson came up with a dual lever that all you do is hit this button, it pops off, and then this sash folds all the way out to here. I can get my hand in here. I can clean it from inside the house. On a two-story, I don't have a ladder, and as my age, I might even fall off the ladder. Much better safety.
No excuses for a dirty window.
Now, also, I noticed when you put the blind down, Elizabeth, this always catches, this handle. Anderson came up with something that kind of folds back in. What's that?
Yes, this is a traditional folding crank. So it's perfect if you have blinds. It doesn't get caught up in the blinds, and it tucks away very nicely.
Pretty neat.
Now this window is something special. Sometimes you'll see tempered on the glass. What does that
Right
mean?
here. Tempered actually came up with that because people that would maybe somehow hit this glass, break it if they were going out a front door. So any glass that's next to a front door has to be tempered. Anything near a garden tub, anything in a stairway where you could come down the stairway, go through that glass, they temper it. Tempering is simply this. What they learned to do on glass when they were making it, if you fire it once, it's our regular glass. Fire it again or a third time, it becomes tempered, meaning if you break it, it just shatters into little pieces. Again,
So you won't
what we're
get
talking
cut.
about today. Same.
Great.
We're down here in the lower level. First question is, what's this?
Yep, that's our sump pit. So there's drainage tiles that go in through there. Those run all around the perimeter of the basement, collects the rainwater or groundwater, brings it here, and then pumps it away from the house.
Now where your foundation doesn't float.
Yeah, exactly.
Good move. Now, I've got an invisible. What's that? Everybody wants to talk about one word. Radon.
Yeah.
Is this where it can come up?
Yeah.
What is radon first?
Well, first, radon, it's a scary, potentially a scary word. It's a colorless, odorless gas that can come from decomposing materials in the ground.
Okay.
Now, the side effect with radon, if it's getting into your house, it could potentially cause lung cancer. So that's why it's a big concern for people. This is an area that it can come in because obviously we have the perimeter tiles running around the basement, and this is a hole in the basement, essentially. So that radon gas can seep in through here.
Okay, there's one way you can stop it, and if you just cover it, is that correct?
Well, you got to cover it and seal it, kind of like the pit next to you there. That's
Okay.
a sealed pit, so that way it doesn't allow that radon gas to leak into the envelope of your house.
Okay, you got a little gizmo here. I'm going to ask you again, like we've been doing all day.
Yep.
What's that?
Yeah, this is an in-home radon tester. So you can see it's reading 2.9.
Yeah.
And once it gets over 4, that's when you might want to, okay, maybe I need to hire a professional to come in and do an extensive test to see if the radon's at too high of a level for my safety or your safety, concerns.
One big advantage with new construction, we can take care of that actually on the front end. If anybody has any questions, they can always call my genius here, Luke, and he's more than happy to explain something to you.
Yep.
Very nice. Kayla, this is a really interesting piece of furniture.
It is. So what they've done is this was an old bomb tester unit, and they've converted it into a really cool bar. So you can close it up and have a really unique feature, or open it up and you're ready to entertain.
More repurposing. Kayla, what's this trunk? It looks like it's off of an old ship.
It does. So this was an old steam trunk, and we've converted it into something that can be actually very useful, a little desk and storage, and a cute little unique item in a house.
What a great way to repurpose something.
Definitely.
My favorite room in all the homes is always going to be the kitchen.
Of course.
And, I spend hours looking at these kitchens. I know you spend hours looking in these kitchens, and sometimes I have to just go, what's that?
We have a lot of what's that in this kitchen for sure.
In this, on the faucet, I see a couple buttons on the back of it. Now, I'm used to some of the buttons, but what do these actually do?
Okay, so this is a faucet where it eliminates the separate sprayer, so a nice clean look on your countertop, and this way you have your spray and your spout all in the same little area there, nice and clean.
Very nice. Now, another thing that I had to say, what's that, when I first went through this, was actually the cutting board.
Yes, so it's kind of hidden here, so really discreet right under the countertop. And what's great, the other what's that, is this little pull out here, a nice trash bin.
So you can really be cutting everything and just swipe it all into the trash bin and be done with it.
It's a perfect layout. I love it. Now, another one that I get a lot is, what is that over there? It doesn't look like a normal double oven. What do we have here?
Well, it looks like we have the oven and then we have a microwave on top of it. So it saves you all that space. We can do the double ovens in there, right?
Exactly. Yep. You can do just about any layout that you like, whatever your preference is.
Now, one thing that I really like about this kitchen, I had the what's that, is the deep drawers. Down here
Definitely.
underneath. Do you see a lot of that happening right now?
We do for pots and pans, really, really popular. The other thing with the drawers, what's that on the side of these? We have the dovetail joints here, a little bit stronger installation method here, and the best soft close.
The soft close. Now, another thing that I think is the best in here that I had a lot of what's that when we had this house open up was actually the swinging saloon door in the pantry. So if your hands are full, you can just really kind of lean into it and the door opens and you can get going.
One of my favorite features in this house. Another couple good ones, why do we have some drawers over here on the side of the range?
Well, we need a place to put our knives.
Perfect.
And we need a place to put our spices.
I love it. Some great organizing methods here.
Another thing that I love that I didn't really get to understand till recently was actually a butler's pantry, kind of, or a mini pantry.
We do. We have a little small pantry. It was kind of a blank wall. Again, make the most amount of the space. We have a short little pantry. You can put some thin things, some cans, and really easy access right next to the refrigerator.
Yeah, I was told that we actually have the runs behind there, so we might as well use that space.
Exactly. Some great layouts.
Now, there was a couple other what's that's in the bathroom in the master. Can we go look at that real quick?
Let's go check it out.
Kayla, the thing that I loved about this bathroom, and there's a lot of things to love about this bathroom, but the towel rack.
So what makes this towel rack so special? What is it?
Well, if you look at the very top on the right-hand side, there's a little button there. You click that button, and now it warms your towels.
This is actually really hot right now.
So when you come out of the shower, you've got a nice hot towel to wrap up in and feel all snuggly like when you were a little kid.
That is a perfect idea. I love it.
Now over here, this is actually screws off. There's an aerator in here. If you ever have that chance where your faucet just doesn't seem like you're getting the water pressure it used to. A lot of times people don't know that they need to clean that out every once in a while. So you unscrew it, you just run water through it, it gets rid of all the sediment, and then poof, it's like you have a brand new faucet.
That's great. I didn't know that. Now, I get a lot of questions of what's that when we're picking faucets and decorating. So the turn-on valve with our shower heads, we have 2 levers here. One turns it on and one is for the temperature. What's great about that is, especially for kids, if you don't want to have to mess with what's hot, what's cold, worry that they're going to get it wrong every time they go into the shower, you can just turn it on and off and the temperature is always set at the same spot.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really got to be a relief for a lot of parents because maybe worried about their kids getting burnt.
Definitely. So it's something I definitely recommend with a family. And another great what's that is the shower head with a speaker in it. So we actually have a shower head that is Bluetooth capable. You have your Pandora, whatever you listen to, going, and you have it right behind your head. Don't have to have something blaring out in the bathroom. It's right in the shower for you to listen to music.
And the water actually insulates the sound then.
Exactly. So it's a wonderful sound and a really cool setting for a shower.
Now, if you have a question about what's that, please feel free to call us at Granite Ridge Builders at 490-1417. Take a picture of it, send it to us. We'll be more than happy to answer what that is.
Well, Izzy, as the song goes, put another log on the fire. We'll make it look
kind of warm for a fire today, but
it is. I'm a lifetime learner, and again this week I have learned something new about the profession that I'm in, and hopefully our audience has learned something new today as well.
I totally agree, Luke. I would love you to install that lint alert when we get home. That'd be great.
Yeah, I know it's one of those things that we just never think about, if that line is clogging or not. So for $60, money well spent.
Definitely.
Yeah, we want to thank you guys for tuning in today. As many items as we covered today, there's thousands more we didn't get a chance to talk about. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, we'd love for you to give us a call at the number below, visit our website, or even better, just come in the front door. We'd love to meet you. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
All right. Can I take a shot?
You ready?
At that?
Let's go.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go. I'm ready to play. Let's go.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were playing through. Let's go fishing.
Well, you can't play golf, so you might as well go fishing.
No, stop it. It's summertime. Stop. Krista's in the door. Okay, then you're going to turn back around. All right. Doesn't hurt. Another one. I know. Yeah, why not?
I'll take an
Summertime. I know the lint alert. You might expire. Come on, start one. You're one of those pyromaniacs, aren't you?
I'm telling you, man.
Are we starting?
And then they'll talk about what they learned, and then I'll close.
All right, you're good. All right.
And I'll say my line and then
45. Hey! We're custom home builders serving northern Indiana, parts of southern Michigan, and also northwest Ohio. Each week we like to come on and tell you, I don't like that. Can I start right there at each week? Start over. All right. Each week we like to cover the subject of new home construction, the processes. That was good. You were doing good until that.
12 tips.
I think we nailed it.
That was good.
I think that we nailed it first time. I'm just chit-chatting.
That was really good.
Get it. I got it. Okay.